It's wonderful to be here. It's also great, as Lavanya said, that we filled the room halfway, which was brilliant. I was just thinking, AVPN is becoming so popular that even Prime Minister Modi wants to come. All he needed to do was ask. We would have given him a complimentary ticket as long as he signed up for membership and paid in advance. But anyway, it's great to see you, and a very warm welcome to our South Asia Summit in person after 2019, after Bangalore. So good to see so many of you in person and actually reconnect. I know that a number of you have made it to Bali, and it was fabulous that we did pull off Bali. It ended up being the largest sort of conference, social investment conference in Asia. Those of you who were there, we had, I think, more than 1,100 people who actually showed up, and there were, I believe, or I'm told at least, 8,000 plus connections that took place during those 4 days of the global summit in Bali. Before I start, I want to tell you that this year we hope that our annual conference in KL will be even bigger and more impactful. For those of you who don't have the dates, it's the 20th to the 22nd of June in Kuala Lumpur. And, it is, we've termed it as Global Challenges and Asian Solutions. And what better way to start that than, with this event, which is our South Asia Social Investment Summit 2023, in the presence of all of you. The third year of this decade of action, as we have named it, for us at AVPN and for pretty much anybody doing anything with impact in Asia, I think calls us to champion transformative collective action. And that is why I believe all of you are here. As Lavanya said, I mean, thank you so much. It's not been easy. Since I landed day before yesterday, all we've been getting calls of is that, is the summit going ahead? Are we going to do this? The roads are shutting. What should we do? The way I look at it is, if you're here, you can't leave. It's kind of like Hotel California. You can check out, but you can't leave. I'm also told that for those of you who are here with us, I won't say captive, but who are here with us in a wonderful, warm, collective, impactful environment, we are going to have food for you every hour that you can't leave, and you will see true Asian hospitality. So last year, actually for us, we celebrated our 10th anniversary, and over the last decade, I think I'm really, really proud to say that we've actually grown into the largest network, actually a largest network across the globe of social investors who are active in Asia. And we have now more than 600 members across 33 markets, which is pretty amazing. Especially because, and I say that, which is pretty amazing here in India, because a lot of times we think we don't need networks. We are like, why do I need a network? Especially for those of us here who are Indian or of Indian origin. For most of us, we can spend 5 minutes talking to each other and we'll find at least 3, if not 10 connections that we have in common. We've either been to school together, or we've lived in the same city, or we've worked in the same company, or we know someone who has. And, we say, why are networks important? Well, networks like this are important because of the intentionality behind that network. It is because you have come here, whether you've traveled from near or from afar, you've come here with an intention, with a clear purpose for action. And that is why networks work, because you don't come here just to shoot the breeze. You don't come here just to have a coffee. We do that as well. But you do come here because you have an intention to actually partner, to collaborate, to find somebody else who shares the same view of impact that you do and that you can work with to actually make a bigger difference than if you were alone. So for that reason, I think we have been really, really successful in growing the way that we have. And it is the only platform in the world where you actually see collaboration between what I like to say unlikely allies. It's the only network in the world where you will find a policymaker or someone in government talking to somebody in private sector. You will find a high net worth individual who runs his or her own family office talking to a corporate foundation about partnering. And it is the only network in its kind that you will actually find an investee organization sitting across the table from a potential investor, hopefully talking at an equal level. And that's why I think it's really, really interesting. Last year for us, 2022, was special because we were the impact partner for the G20 presidency of Indonesia. That was actually incredibly humbling and a huge honor for us all. We are a private sector network. We are a private network. I like to call us a neutral nobody. And yet, the government of Indonesia tapped on us to become their impact partner. And we're hoping this year to continue that kind of partnership with the Indian government's presidency of the G20 to empower all of you, our members here in South Asia, to really bring forward the Asian voice and bring to light both the challenges and the opportunities in the region. None of us can miss that the G20 presidency is in India, by the way. I mean, for all of you, no way we can get away from that. So work is in progress to do this, and in partnership, actually, with the ADB, we have drafted an input paper for the G20 Sustainable Finance Working Group, which was released recently. We're also talking with different groups of the India presidency to see how we can support and partner with them. So why are we doing this, and why is it important? I think all of us see that Asia as a region is really growing. I mean, we have more than 950 billionaires in Asia, outnumbering all the other regions. And according to some forecasts, millionaires in India will double by 2026. Despite this vibrant and booming economic and philanthropic ecosystem in Asia, India and most other Asian countries actually think of the West as the standard bearer for philanthropy and social investment. In my humble opinion, if India is to be a major power in the region, it needs to increase its soft influence, and it needs to look east a lot more than it does look west. There is a net value that we see sitting in Singapore for Indian philanthropists, both local and diaspora, to actually explore how can they increase their sphere of influence. There is also a big space for impact investors coming out of India to really look at opportunities to invest and to share their knowledge and their expertise with their counterparts across the Asian region. We need many, many more Asian homegrown idols, and we need to talk about them much more. In a region that has a history of philanthropic giving, our giving needs to be more strategic. It needs to have a deep intent to drive impact. The Asian ecosystem can be intentionally built to support catalytic philanthropy in India, and it requires social investors like all of you to shift from a Western orientation and engage much, much more with funders in the Asian region. The timing for India, we believe, actually at AVPN, is now, and that's why we are doubling down on our efforts to bring the limelight on the Asian voice and bolder Asian solutions. Since the start of the pandemic, we have actually mobilized more than $11 million in unrestricted funding to small and medium organizations across Asia. There are a lot of operating foundations here in this room. How many of you do unrestricted core support? We tend to support projects. We tend to support sort of, small kind of objectives. And we look at saying we want to drive systems change. But how are we going to drive systems change if we actually don't help build local organizations with local solutions from the ground? And that is why we launched our pooled philanthropic funds. Our pooled funds have one very clear criteria. We only do core support. We do core support to organizations that are local, to leaders that are local, to solutions, to support solutions that are local. Because if we don't build Asian solutions, if we don't build Asian leaders, and if we don't build Asian organizations, we are not going to see transformative social change, and we're not going to see it happen in our region. And that is why we at AVPN have now 7 pooled funds under our belt. straddling themes as diverse as last mile healthcare delivery, sustainability, and gender, to really drive change across the region. And South Asia is also the beneficiary for a number of our funds. We right now have an open call for our sustainability fund. So if you know of any organizations or you are part of an organization that is looking at driving sustainability using technology, please do apply. Like I said, the funds are unrestricted. You will get them for core operating support. We also just made a grant to, I think it was 2 Indian organizations that are looking at promoting STEM education for girls. And India was obviously a target country for that. And we have our Asia Gender Fund, which is looking at promoting the economic empowerment of women and girls across Asia. We've raised more than $6 million for that fund, and we will be sending out a call for applications in the next 2 months, I believe. We have also, so the funds are one way for us to mobilize capital, but we have also looked at expanding how we share Asian insights across the region. We have engaged, I believe, more than 500 active learners and 1,000 library users through our academy programs and several fellowships, including the Philanthropy Advisory Fellowship. We have more Indians who are part of our Asia Impact Leaders Network. I think a few of them are here today. Vandana Bari from SIF, Seema Arora from CII, and Arunabha Ghosh from CEEW. Wonderful to have them as part of a regional convening of impact leaders. On the thematic front, we have launched the Youth Opportunities Platform and the Asia-wide Climate Action Platform. Both of these actually would love to have more engagement and more, I would say, co-creation kinds of opportunities with our members here in this group. There are a lot of my colleagues from AVPN who are running these programs who are here today. Tristan, who runs our programs, do you want to stand for a second? Actually manages quite a few of these. Kevin, who manages our markets, is also here. So if you have an idea, you have something you'd like to share, please do reach out to them, and they'll make sure that that happens. I don't want to go through this whole laundry list of programs, but what I do want to say to you is that our commitment to this region is actually expressed by the number of my pan-India colleagues. We not only have a strong markets team that's led by Lavanya, who actually introduced the session this morning, but we have a strong team in India that actually supports a lot of our regional programs. And the reason we do that is we really feel that India is part of Asia. And it's a very important part of Asia. So it's important that we see ourselves as being intrinsically Asian, and we partner with each other, with other Asian countries, as we look at raising the social inclusion of our region as a whole. So I just want to give you guys a sense of how many team members AVPN actually has based in India. So anyone who's here from AVPN who's based in India, can you just put up your hands? The rest of you are outside, I think, because we have many more. But that's brilliant. And, thank you. You can put. So I think, these are a few ways to say that we think this region is supremely important. And India is obviously the large elephant in the South Asia region. And, as I started by saying, the idea for getting you all here was to champion transformative collective action. And the collective is actually made up by all of you. All of you as our members have believed in us. This is our 4th South Asia Summit. Somebody asked Kevin and me this morning if this was our first one. It isn't. It's our 4th. We started our first one, I don't even remember when, 2015, 2016, in IIT Bombay. Went to Delhi, then Bangalore, and now are back in Bombay. And it's really gratifying to see that our community has grown, that all of you are part of this community. I'll end on the note that we are a membership network. This network is your network. You get as much from the network as you put in. So really looking forward to working together, working with all of you through the course of this year and till 2030 to see that we actually have a much more vibrant, stronger, inclusive, impactful Asia. Thank you so much for joining us.